Hey guys, this is Nina with Get Right Nina, and if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Well, I know it's been a little bit, and I just wanted to first give a disclaimer and let you know that I don't profess to be, a doctor or anything like that, but I will say that I am an expert in the area of life and life management because I've had to rebuild life all over again, starting from scratch more than once. And through those experiences, I've gained some very key wisdom and some nuggets that I utilize with God's empowerment and by His Spirit to encourage and empower and uplift others. And every once in a while, I will make a video that I feel is very important for what we're dealing with, what's relevant. It might be whether it's a topic on the news, whether it's something that I get sent to me via Facebook or my Twitter page, or even email, or just a phone call with a girlfriend, or catching up with guy friends, or a guy asking me a question about relationships, or whatever it may be. I try to take what I've been through in life and pray about it and seek God's discernment on how I should answer it and what I should say. And I've been doing that more and more and noticing God really doing a great move in that. And so recently I got an email from BET, of course, because if you subscribe to BET, they send you information keeping you in on the latest news, which I love because it keeps you in the loop. And since I don't watch a lot of music videos, it at least keeps me on track of what is in the now, what's going on. And I got an article in regards to Ray Rice and domestic violence. And I kind of got very heated in watching it and reading the articles. And I had to kind of catch myself because I was, just kind of going through being angry from one, watching it on more than one occasion, then watching a full version of it. And it just makes you overwhelmed, especially if you are an overcomer of domestic violence, and I am one. So it's very sensitive and very dear to my heart. And a few days later, after going and seeing it, I did get another email from another source of people that I, kind of deal with. I subscribe to their newsletter and stay in the loop with them via Twitter and different routes and stuff like that. And it was about his wife. I believe it's Janae Palmer, it was Janae Palmer and then Janae Rice. I'm not sure 100% because I read the article in detail, but it talked more about different people and their experience and why women stay. And I really wanted to talk about that because it's dear to my heart. When I experienced the domestic violence, I had red flags. My ex-husband he had been abused. He had abuse in the past with previous relationships, and there was just some moments of anger flare-ups that were red flags. But a lot of times women are already in love, are either already pregnant or already have had their child. And by then it's so hard to make that empowering step to leave. And sometimes people can be so judgmental, people who've never been there, because to them, the logical thing is, if someone hits you, leave. But a lot of times those are the very ones who can make so many logical decisions when it comes to other people's lives, but don't seem to use as much wisdom and good judgment when it comes to managing their own lives. And so it's easier for us to kind of pick and tweak and say, why didn't she leave? Why did he do this and that? And we really don't always know. And as a little girl, my father, he wasn't really much of a father. My real father, my biological father. And my stepfather, his kids were all grown. And by the time we came along, it was like, okay, wait, what do you do again? How do you do this? And what worked for him in the time with his oldest kids, unfortunately, no one ever really taught him the yeses and the nos of what's appropriate, what's not. So he just assumed it was okay for us too. And there was a lot of things that happened in my childhood that made me a target, being I had low self-esteem by the time we got together. I was looking for love and affirmation. I just wanted someone to tell me I was accepted, that I was special, that I was beautiful. And so when we got together and he knew what to say, he became my drug. He became my crutch. I lost myself in that situation because I started to get my identity through him. It's almost like he liked hardcore hip hop. That became a favorite genre of music for me. He liked, doing certain things and certain ways of living. That became what I liked. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because anytime you spend a lot of time with a person, you are going to have some similarities. You are going to start to pick up things from each other. But there's a healthy balance of taking onto their life, and there's an unhealthy balance of taking on and losing yourself. And women, we are naturally wired, and I will say naturally, but also supernaturally wired to be nurturers, to be homemakers, to be empowerers. God designed us one in the spirit. We are the helpmeet. So we come alongside and we help bring a vision to pass that God has placed within the head of our lives. And if there's no head, then that's Christ. In the natural, God has given us a womb. So we birth, and therefore we are really managers of life. We're birthers of life. We're managers of life. We are big on projects. And a lot of times, women, we stay in those situations because either we may not have the money saved to really get ourselves in a better situation. We may have come from a broken home and are afraid to repeat that cycle because we remember what that pain was like for us. And in turn, we still repeat that cycle because our kids see us in constant friction and fighting. Or it may be that we feel that that's the best we can do. We might not see ourselves in the light of what we really are. So we then take our identity and our cues from that person, that lover, and we get lost in the sauce. They become our everything. And so sometimes women want to leave the violence, but are afraid to leave that good situation. Because what happens is anytime you're with an abuser, there's these roller coaster seasons and roller coaster moments where you get good boy Johnny today, and tomorrow you might get bad tail Billy Bob. And today Johnny cooks you dinner and rubbed your feet and made good love to you and brought home your favorite wine or put on your favorite music. And tomorrow he may be lumping you upside the head. Because you are so in love with the Johnny that he appears to be today, it's hard for you to see the Billy Bob that he really is. And it's not even necessarily because all men who are abusers are just horrible monsters. A lot of times they have unresolved issues. And a lot of times they have areas of their life that they've never learned coping skills, anger management. Sometimes they feel insecure, and their only way of holding on to their sense of dignity is through like a bullying technique. Like a bully, or like when somebody goes to prison, they look for the biggest person to knock out so they can get that respect, so that everybody else knows they ain't nobody to be played with. A lot of times that same mentality carries over. And I know because I kept attracting the same type of guy. And sometimes if I'm not careful, I notice the same kind of guy could be driving in his whip or his car, and he'll be looking at me. And if I'm not careful, I'll be like, oh, wait a minute, I'm done with that. That's not who I am. I'm not that person anymore. But because of who I always thought I was, because I never really had my father to affirm me, and my stepfather, he never really told me he loved me. Now we are the best of friends. But growing up, he never really said to me, you know what, Nina, you're gorgeous. You're beautiful. You're special. You're loved. I love you. I accept you. You are to be desired. You are to be treated with love. He never taught me those things. And because I had dealt with so much abuse at the hands of lovers, whether it's emotionally, whether it's mind games, verbally, you too fat for this, or you got kids, or whatever it may be, I carried those things with me. And so I became an easy target. And so, while a lot of times it's easy to say, well, why didn't Janae leave, or why did she stay? And really, it's because too, sometimes you have kids with that person, you have built your whole life, and you really think they can change. But I'm going to tell you something. Unless a person surrenders their life to a higher power that only then can produce change, they can't really change. Not because they don't want to, because even Paul said, when I desired to change, or when I desired to do right, evil was still present because my sin nature still caused me to do wrong. They can have a heart of gold and really want to do better. They really can. But habits don't die overnight. They really need counseling. They need prayer. They need consecration. They need mentorship. They need renewed thinking. They need a model, a role model, and they need a support group of men who will keep them accountable and that they can go to when they have those anger moments arise. And ladies, you can't sit there and be insecure and be jealous and say, oh, you getting with the guys again today? It's either you want him to stay home and lump you up, or to get his moment to go and change and grow. A lot of times we're comfortable, sometimes we get comfortable with a bad situation because the pain of process of growing and freedom and change, that process almost to us in our mind becomes so much more painful than staying. So it's like we're our worst enemies. We convince ourselves to leave is worse than staying. So we defeat our exit before we even get a chance to even experience it, because of what we conjure up in our mind, whether it's I won't survive on my own, or, because I'm going to tell you what kept me going back. I have been played on so many times that, in a sense, that I felt like, where else am I going to find somebody that tell me all these things, that love me like this, and, I really felt love. And then I felt like, dang, he be so nice when he's doing good. He can change. He can change. That bad side ain't who he is. He can do better. But you cannot change another person. You can pray for them. You can love them. You can offer them support and encouragement. You can, cover them in prayer and suggest to them things. But a person has to make up their own mind to do better. You cannot make another person change. And so you have to ask yourself, do I be selfish? Because in reality, when you stay in an unhealthy situation and you convince yourself it's for your kids, think about it. How can being knocked upside the head or slapped or be called the B word or be called a hoe or you ain't no good, how is that beneficial to your heart, to your spirit and mind? How can you manage your kids when you don't even feel like you're worth living or that you're worth doing anything? How can you do that? So you got to move away the self-deception, because we take on projects. We love projects. We like fixer-uppers, and there's nothing wrong. Some men are and some women are worth the investment, fixer-uppers, when God deems so and says so. But don't convince yourself that that's the project you need to be doing if it's doing more damage and it's causing more destruction in your life. That's like a drug deal, a crack addict saying, I'm not hurting nobody. What I'm doing ain't nothing wrong. And they're stealing from their kids. They can't even go into their relative's house because they steal so much, or they always causing dysfunction. That's like a alcoholic who refuses to get help despite how much pain he's caused his family. There's no wisdom in that. That's folly. That's complete foolishness. And so while we look at the Ray Rice situation, my prayer would be that we have a heart for Janae, that we pray for her family because they're going through it, that we would pray for other women and men, because not only just women are abused, men are too. There's some women out there that will cut you quicker than you can say hello and good morning. There's some women who will throw a brick through your window quicker than you can say, I won't be home till an hour later. Because they're unstable too and need help. We all need Jesus. Whether this world wants to admit it or not, we all need Jesus. Even I was watching a hip hop reunion and they said have a Jesus moment. Come on, really? Now, if you don't got a clue, something's wrong with that picture. We all need Jesus. We might not want to stop our bad habits, but we need Jesus. So we need to be praying for other women and men because people go through it. And instead of saying, why don't they leave? Build that person up. Maybe that person don't feel there's anything better in life or that they can leave. Buy a bus ticket for them and their kids. If you're that concerned to judge them on why they don't leave, how about you be part of the solution and providing an exit strategy for them versus talking about them? And then pray for Ray Rice. Because when you make a poor choice in life and you've made them and you can't seem to break habits, and now as a result of that, your life falls apart, that is a suicidal, depressed place to be. That's a bad place to be because you're already dealing with the guilt and shame of your embarrassment and your poor choices. Then you have everybody and their mama in your business, and now you're losing your financial income, your status, your position, and indefinitely being. That's a lot. And no matter what he's done, God is a God of another chance. And whether we like it or not, if it's God's will for Janae and Ray to be together, they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. But we have to change how we view domestic violence, how we view ourselves, how we view victims, how we view abusers. This whole thing need to be redone because it's not a good look. And so before you judge someone, ask yourself, am I being part of the solution? Am I tearing them down or am I building them up? Am I praying or am I cursing? What am I doing to make it different? There's somebody you sitting to that you may not even know it at work, and they may be getting abused left and right. And they may not look the same, or they may be quiet, and you might be judging them and thinking they introvert for no reason. People have been battered and abused and tattered, and this world is hurting. People are hurting. And people need love. They need to know that they are special and that they are overcomers and that they can do more in life doing better than doing worse. They need the truth. It's the truth that you know that'll set you free. Not just the truth, because you could have the truth around you, and if you don't know it or take it in, you still bound. So that's my time. I've already gone over by 3 minutes. I've been trying to keep these videos less than 15 minutes because I know how YouTube, you gotta wait to upload a video more than 15 minutes. But I hope this blessed somebody. I hope someone is intrigued. I will probably make some more videos to follow up because I see how, I kind of was different places with it, but I tried to stay cohesive and coherent with it. But I finally got my blog up, guys. It's at gatheringpearls.com, and it's very new for me, so please forgive me if it looks weird. It's very new, but you can like this video. I would love for you to subscribe, and I really would love for you to share it because somebody needs to hear it. Thank you so much. That's my time. Deuces. God bless.